Brothers and sisters, I wish I could speak even more impressively on this most delightful theme. For if there is one point more than others that touches the very vitals of Christian existence, it is this prayerfulness, this asking of God and receiving from Him in answer to our earnest believing supplication. Is prayer a reality with you, dear friends, or is it a mere mockery? Is it a sort of religious rite that you feel bound to perform, or has it become an essential to your spiritual being as breathing is to your natural being? Is it now to you a matter of habit that you should pray? Is it as natural for you to ask your Father who is in heaven as it is for your little children to ask you who are their fathers on earth? I feel that it must be so with me, not merely praying because I should, but because I love the sacred exercise. Not praying at a certain hour because it is the set time for prayer, but praying because I want to pray. Praying because I must pray. A man scarcely needs to be reminded that he must breathe. It is essential to his very life that he should breathe, and it is essential to our spiritual life that we should pray. I never thought it necessary for me to prepare a sermon to exhort you to eat. Neither should it be necessary to exhort Christians to pray. It should be to you an instinct of your new nature, as natural to your spiritual being as a good appetite is to a man in health. There should be a holy hunger and a thirst to pray, and the soul never prays so well as when it is reminded, not by the hour of the day or night, but by its real needs, and when it goes to its place of private prayer, not because it thinks it should, but because it feels that it must, and is delighted at the privilege of having communion with its God. My object in the second part of my sermon will be to stir you up to such a feeling as that, so I will say no more on this first portion of my theme, the believer's daily exercise. In that day you will ask in my name. Well now, secondly, we have the believer's privileged position with regard to praying. Believers ought always to pray because first they have the Holy Spirit to prompt them. Is that in the text? Yes, or at least it is implied in the text. For Jesus says, in that day you will ask. But how could he so positively affirm that we would ask unless he intended to send his Spirit to lead us to ask? The promise is itself a guarantee that he will see it fulfilled. So we have the Holy Spirit to prompt us to pray, and not merely to prompt us to pray, but to tell us what we should pray. We do not know what we ought to pray for until he teaches us. Someone perhaps might ask, why do you pray when everything is ordained by divine decree? It is true that everything is ordained, and it is for that very reason that we do pray. The Spirit of God leads us to desire exactly what God has decreed. And though we cannot open and read the book of His decrees, the Holy Spirit can read that book. So He guides us to pray in accordance with its secret records. And He also makes intercession for us according to the will of God. For who among men knows the thoughts of a man except the man's spirit within him? In the same way, no one knows the thoughts of God except the Spirit of God.